In 2011, Jordan Brand opened up a massive retail store in Shibuya, Japan. It came with an in-store cafe, it had artwork from local Japanese artists. At the time, it was the largest Jordan retail store in the country. World of Flight has since surpassed it, but 11 years ago, to celebrate the launch of the store, Jordan Brand dropped a Jordan 5, a very rare Japan-only exclusive that many thought were never going to be seen again, but many were wrong. And we are so happy to be wrong. Air Jordan 5 Tokyo 23. And the shoe is dropping on September 27th for $215 in the United States. It's actually already dropped in Japan. And of course, what year was it? There was a Jordan 5 Water in recent years. And of course, one shoe for that pair was dedicated to the Tokyos. And of course, for me, I've mentioned this in other videos before, I got the Jordan 5 Michigans just to make up for the fact that I wasn't able to get this colorway. Did I go to Michigan? No. Have I ever even been to the state of Michigan? No. But I needed a shoe that looks somewhat like it. But when I saw confirmation of this shoe coming back, I was like, I don't really need the Michigans anymore. I still think it's a really nice shoe, really nice colorway, but it wasn't a necessity. I can't keep like every shoe that I review or have on hand. So I sold that one for pretty much dirt cheap in preparation of these beauties. And first impressions of this shoe. 2025 is the year Jordan Brand and Nike are just reaching into their archives, seeing which grails they can bring back. They are kind of falling behind or had some disappointing years over 2025 and 2024. So they're reaching deep and bringing back the heavy hitters. This is absolutely one of them. I honestly didn't think they would ever bring this back. And I thought early rumors of them retroing this was like fake, was fugazi, but they did it. And look at it. It's just so bold in your face, but it's nice. It might not be for everybody, but I have always maintained, you can see from past videos, I've always said this, I really like monochromatic type of Jordan 5s. For whatever reason, it just really appeals to me. I have the UNCs, Dunk on Mars. A lot of people didn't like it, but that burnt orange, full burnt orange Jordan 5, I thought was a really nice look. This yellow can be a bit too much, but there are two things that probably bias me towards a very yellow shoe. Number one, the X-Men cartoon from the 90s. Yellow is a very distinct color on their uniforms. And number two, the colors of Wu-Tang. It's kind of a darker yellow, more gold, but it's like similar shades. And on this shoe, the Jordan 5, my favorite sneaker, what a year it has been for Jordan 5 lovers. Love it. And in terms of the materials, it is just completely yellow nubuck. And the nubuck on here, it feels nice. It feels good to the touch. Kind of reminds me of some like special Armand Manier collaborations or other special collaborations where they clearly try to kind of upscale the shoe and materials that it comes with. Yeah, this definitely feels good. And of course it is very, very bright, and that is supposed to represent the bright lights of the Shibuya district in Japan. And of course you see on the heel, very, very distinct kind of emblem there instead of usual 23 that they stick on some Jordan 5s. That is actually 23 in kanji. That is actually the same characters as Mandarin. So the way you write it is 2, 10, 3. That's 23 in kanji in Japanese. So the bottom two lines, that is 2. The cross-looking kind of shape, that is 10. 3 lines, that is 3. And then wrapping around to the booty of the shoe, you just get a Jumpman that is stitched. Usual rule is for non-OG colorways, you get a Jumpman. For OG colorways, you get a Nike Air on the back. They do make exceptions for like special collaborations and special Jordan 5s. But for this, it is special whether or not it has Nike Air on the back or not. And of course, you see this very distinct netting for the Jordan 5 that comes like translucent out of the box. It does tend to yellow over time, but still looks great. I think yellowed or like out of the box looks delicious. And then the tongue itself, you will get Jumpman branding there, and it is a 3M tongue. The Jordan 5 was actually the first Jordan Brand shoe to start playing around with 3M material, and this one is no different. And then right behind the tongue, a right side up Air Jordan tag, just like it came in 2011. And this shoe actually does come with one extra set of laces, just white. Out of the two, I think black probably goes better with the colors on this shoe. I think white really pops as well, but out of the two, if I had to choose, I'm going black, and because it is a Jordan 5, even though it's my favorite sneaker, I still have a complaint, and that is the lace lock. It is obviously the first Jordan brand shoe to use lace locks. Jordan 6 had it as well. Jordan 7, they were smarter about it. They got rid of it, and I've never really liked the lace lock. I think practically it gets in the way, it makes things messy. I don't know why you need it, but yeah, it is there. And this lace lock, just like a non-OG Jordan 5, it has a Jumpman on the kind of base itself, and on the push tab, there's a Jumpman as well. Now, if you look at the shape of this shoe, it is still not as like sleek and slim and just as delicious looking as like the original Jordan 5s, but is definitely not as boxy as some other Jordan 5s that have released in recent memory. And in terms of cushioning, this shoe comes with a polyurethane midsole with a visible Nike Air unit on the heel, as well as one on the forefoot. And my favorite thing about the Jordan 5, it is this midsole area with that very aggressive shark teeth. So Tinker Hatfield designed this shoe inspired by the Mustang Fighter Jet. So the shape of this shoe, you will notice it is very aggressive. The shark teeth, extra aggressive, and I just love how that looks. This yellow on white type of combination, I love it. And I'm glad they stuck to the white on the midsole here, just like the originals. No stupid kind of pre-aging for this part of the shoe. Now, one thing that you will notice that is not the same as the 2011 Jordan 5 Tokyos is the toe here is actually yellow. So on the original colorway, it was actually black, but they didn't want to upset the people that paid a lot of money to get those grails. So they wanted one good way, kind of subtle way to differentiate between the peasants like myself, who got this colorway in this version, versus the ones who spent a lot of money for the original version in 2011. And that's one way they did it. This toe area right here. Between the two, like in a vacuum, I don't really mind this yellow toe here. I don't think it makes it look ugly or anything, but because the originals do exist, it's hard not to notice and compare. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And in terms of the outsole, get a Jordan 5 outsole, Jordan branding here. Again, usual rule, non-OG colorways gets Jordan branding, and special collaborations and OG colorways of the Jordan 5 gets Nike branding here. The translucent outsole, a very distinct thing about the Jordan 5 was that it was the first Jordan brand shoe to start playing with icy outsoles, majority herringbone traction. I have not played ball in a Jordan 5, but I imagine if you really wanted to, if you can tolerate the weight and chunkiness of a Jordan 5, it'll probably still perform pretty well traction-wise on court. And the insoles of the shoe, glad to say they are polyurethane insoles, just like a special release should have. Molds to your feet the more you wear it, just adds a little bit to the comfort. And you also get a custom branded insole. So you see when it's put together, it says 23, and at the bottom there, it says Tokyo 23 Special District. And in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer. Jordan 5s for my big, fat, ugly feet fits me pretty well. It really wraps around my feet. You can see, especially from like a bird's eye view, that the width of the shoe, it's not like some other Nike shoes where it comes super slender. Like a lot of Kobe's are just very, very skinny. So for a lot of wide footers, there's no perfect solution. Jordan 5s, yeah, very good for wide footers. No pain area, toe box doesn't feel like it's getting absolutely strangled. Arch area, there's enough space where it doesn't feel like it's really digging into your feet here. Like the Jordan 12s, that's a huge common problem for me when it comes to the 12s. So yeah, everything around the feet, it is my favorite in terms of comfort for Jordan 1 to 14. Now under the foot, very ancient and old technology. It is from 1990, you get two like miserable Nike Air units. It's outdated, and polyurethane midsole is more responsive and has more weight savings than like a rubber cup sole. It is not as durable, but it is still very, very old. You get much better cushion shoes in 2025. If you are someone that really prioritizes like weight savings in your shoes, if you know you're going to go on a trip where you have to be on your feet a lot, you don't want to kind of lug around a big heavy shoe, maybe Jordan 5s aren't it for you. But as a Jordan Retro, as a shoe that came out from 1990, I think it is still very comfortable. And that brings the total sole score of the Jordan 5 Tokyo to 31 out of 40. Pretty high score compared to other general releases. Now first, it is colorway. I really like monochromatic type of looking Jordan 5s, and this bright yellow on the Jordan 5, I think it looks great as well. I don't think it is as legendary as like some of the 5s behind me, like the Grapes, the Black Metallic Reimagined, the Fire Reds, but it is up there. Maybe slightly like 5% below those, but still a very good colorway. And in terms of the materials, really nice nubuck here, feels good to the touch. It is not like the thickest materials, but for a Jordan Brand shoe, I think it is nice. And in terms of the comfort, one of the best fitting shoes in terms of Jordan retros goes for wide footers, especially. So your mileage may vary, but for me, the way it just wraps around my feet without it being too tight in any area, I love it. Underfoot, if you know or if you're used to like Jordan retros, there's no real big surprises here. Can't really compare like a very ancient shoe with old technology to what you would get now, like Zoom X cushioning and things like that. But I will say, like as objective as I can, if you have to wear a Jordan 5 all day on feet, your feet's not gonna like hate you at the end of the day. And in terms of versatility, I think the Jordan 5, in terms of the silhouette, is decently wearable. Like it is one of those shoes or Jordan Brand shoes where it's probably mainstream now, probably not as wearable as like the 1s, 3s, 4s, but it is still pretty mainstream. In terms of wearability of the colorway though, it is a lot. Like objectively, I love this shoe, but when you look at a bright yellow shoe, it's like wearing a traffic light on your feet. It is not the most wearable colorway. The silhouette itself still looks kind of bulky, maybe a bit too retro for some people. So as much as I love this shoe and proving to you that I can still remain somewhat objective, this is not the most versatile Jordan Brand shoe. In a year where they brought back a lot of beloved Jordan 5s, the black metallic reimagined, the grapes, the fire red black tongues, it's kind of hard to compare with those OG special shoes. Where does this rank amongst those? I gotta pick the OGs over this, but in terms of non-OGs, this might be the best one. This is a moment, I speak for myself, but I think a lot of people would agree with me around my age. We never thought we'd be able to get our hands on these. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Soul Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Jordan 5 Tokyo. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.